Imagine if the most advanced modern physics, the Big Bang Theory, the conservation of energy, the expansion of the universe, was already perfectly described thousands of years ago.
Right, but not in a laboratory.
Exactly, not in a lab, but inside, like the conceptual shell of a cosmic golden egg.
Oh.
I mean, we're talking about ancient sages describing the exact mechanics of a singularity.
And the acoustic shockwaves of the early cosmos, too.
Yeah, long before the invention of the telescope. So, welcome to another full summary deep dive for the Simplified Awakening Ancient Wisdom Decoded channel.
It's a really exciting one today.
It really is. We have a truly mind-bending journey ahead for you, so we humbly ask that you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share your valuable comments down below.
Yeah, your support really helps us keep decoding this ancient wisdom for you.
So today we are exploring the ancient Vedic concept of Hiranyagarbha. Which basically translates to the cosmic golden egg or the golden womb.
Right, and it requires a massive paradigm shift to really understand this.
That's for sure.
Because we're looking at sources that take the birth, the expansion, and the mechanics of the universe, and they map them onto a framework that eerily anticipates modern astrophysics.
It's kind of wild.
It is. But to actually grasp the concept of this cosmic egg, you, as the listener, have to start with a completely blank slate. You have to unlearn the traditional Western concept of how a universe is made.
Right, because if you grew up in the West, you likely inherited a very specific theological idea of creation.
Exactly.
The idea known as ex nihilo, which literally means creation out of nothing.
Right, out of thin air.
Yeah. The underlying assumption is that there was an absolute void, just a total, incomprehensible nothingness. And then a creator essentially, snapped their fingers and a physical universe just appeared.
Like magic, basically.
Yeah, it operates on the logic of, say, a carpenter building a cabinet out of wood that he just conjured into thin air. The creator is an entirely separate entity from the creation itself.
But the thing is, the Vedic texts, which are, the foundational philosophies of ancient India, they reject that concept outright.
Completely.
They point out a fundamental logical absurdity in ex nihilo that modern physics also rejects.
Right, because of thermodynamics.
Exactly. If originally there was absolute nothingness, how could something emerge from it? In thermodynamics, we know that energy and matter cannot be created from a true void.
You can't get something from nothing.
You really can't. So the Sanskrit word that's often poorly translated as creation in these texts is Shrishti.
Okay.
But a much more accurate translation of Shrishti is actually projection.
Projection. So wait, we aren't talking about building a brand new structure from scratch, but rather projecting something outward that already existed in a latent state.
Yes, precisely. The universe wasn't built, it was breathed out.
Breathed out. Wow.
The creator manifested the universe out of its own essence. And what's compelling is that the sources note this wasn't exclusively an Eastern idea either.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you look at the original Greek word used in the New Testament for the origin of the universe, the word is ginomai.
Ginomai.
Right. And it does not mean made from nothing. It actually translates to be generated or to be assembled from something already existing.
That's fascinating.
It is. There is a shared ancient understanding of a projected universe that simply got lost in translation over the centuries as, institutional theology sort of took over.
Okay, let's unpack this, because changing the definition from creation to projection completely rewrites the relationship between the creator and the cosmos.
Oh, absolutely.
Our sources bring up a really vivid analogy from the Upanishads, which is the spider.
Ah, yes, the spider.
The text says, quote, "As the spider spreads out and withdraws its thread, so out of the imperishable does the universe emerge," end quote.
It's a beautiful image.
It is, but the creator spins the universe out of its own substance. The universe is made of the creator.
Good.
But I kind of struggle to buy that analogy at face value. Well, a spider is a biological creature, right? It's making a physical web out of proteins. If this ultimate creator is supposed to be purely non-physical, perfect, absolute, it fundamentally violates the laws of physics and logic for it to generate physical, chaotic, flawed matter without degrading its own perfect state.
Right, that's the big question.
Like, how does an absolute perfection become a messy universe of gas clouds, rocks, and, humans?
That is the core philosophical tension right there. And what's fascinating here is how the philosopher Swami Vivekananda addresses that exact contradiction.
What does he say?
He explains that the creator doesn't permanently alter its fundamental nature or lose its perfection. Instead of a chemical transformation, think of it as an oscillation between states.
One oscillation.
Yeah, the universe oscillates between being active, which is dynamic, moving, and visible, and resting, which is static and unmanifested.
Ah.
So the absolute reality remains perfect in its potential, but it projects this visible universe outward as a temporary manifestation.
Oh, so it's like kinetic energy versus potential energy. It's exactly.
Like a boulder resting at the top of a hill contains massive potential energy. When it rolls down, that energy becomes kinetic and destructive, but the total energy of the system hasn't changed at all.
That's a perfect parallel. The total energy is conserved.
So the projection is just a shift from potential to active.
Right. And that initial shift, that very moment when the absolute first projects outward into an intensely concentrated active state.
Right.
That is exactly where we find the golden egg.
Okay, right. Because if the universe is projected outward, there has to be an initial, incredibly dense point of projection before it expands into the sprawling galaxies we see now.
Exactly. There has to be a seed.
Which brings us to the anatomical breakdown of the Hiranyagarbha. To visualize this, we look at the vivid imagery in texts like the Prashna, the Matsya, and the Agni Puranas.
Those texts are incredibly descriptive.
They really are. They describe a time before creation characterized by absolute darkness and stillness, and then a bright golden egg appears.
Out of nowhere, basically. Right. And the creator, referred to here as Prajapati or Brahma, is said to dwell inside this golden egg for a vast, almost incomprehensible period of gestation. Some texts say a year, others 1,000 years.
It's a period of gathering infinite cosmic potential into a single point.
Right, just incubating.
And when that gestation is complete, the egg splits open. The texts break down the anatomy of this cosmic egg with stunning, really poetic detail.
Yeah, like when it ruptures, one half, the shell is silver, and the other half is gold.
The silver half represents the earth, or Buluk, and the gold half represents heaven, or Dialuk.
But they go much deeper than just the shell, don't they?
Oh, way deeper. The outer membrane of the egg becomes the mountains. The inner membrane becomes the mist and clouds. The veins of the egg stretch out to become the rivers, and the amniotic fluid inside becomes the oceans.
Here's where it gets really interesting. When you strip away the poetic, mythological language of silver membranes and golden shells, you are left with a structural description of the universe that mirrors modern astrophysics to an astonishing degree.
It really does.
Because in modern physics, the Big Bang Theory dictates that all matter, all energy, and even space-time itself were once compressed into an infinitely dense, infinitely hot singularity.
A point where the known laws of physics just completely break down.
Exactly. So this golden egg, gestating in a void of darkness before time begins, is essentially an ancient blueprint for a singularity.
The parallels are undeniable. I mean, you have an initial state of absolute stillness, followed by an unimaginably dense golden point of origin containing the blueprints for all physical matter,
Right.
which then rapidly ruptures and expands to form the structures of reality. And if we want to lean into the astrophysics of the Big Bang, the texts offer another detail.
Well, that sounds right.
Yes. They state that when the sun was born from this bursting egg, sounds of loud shouts arose.
A literal Big Bang.
Literally.
But wait, in space there is no sound, so how did that track with actual physics?
Well, in the modern universe, sound doesn't travel through the vacuum of space, sure. But in the immediate aftermath of the Big Bang, the universe was not a vacuum.
It wasn't.
No, it was an unimaginably dense, superheated plasma. And modern cosmologists have discovered what are called baryon acoustic oscillations.
Baryon acoustic oscillations.
Right. These were literal massive sound waves, acoustic shockwaves, just rippling through the dense plasma of the early universe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and those shockwaves created denser regions of matter that eventually cooled to become the galaxies we see today. So an auditory and visual explosion of loud shouts accompanying the birth of the visible universe is surprisingly scientifically accurate.
That is staggering to think about.
It really is.
We're discussing texts composed thousands of years before the Hubble Space Telescope, or, the concept of cosmic microwave background radiation.
Long before.
But this brings up a mechanical problem. A physical bird's egg requires a catalyst to hatch, usually applied warmth.
Right.
So what forces caused this cosmic egg to burst? Like, what made that ancient singularity expand into a universe rather than just collapsing back in on itself?
Building blocks that govern this expansion. Akasha and Prana.
Okay, Akasha and Prana. Let's break those down.
So Akasha is often translated simply as ether or space, but in this context, it's much closer to what a modern physicist would call the quantum vacuum, or the underlying fabric of space-time.
Got it.
It's the omnipresent, raw, unformed material of existence. Prana, on the other hand, is the infinite, omnipresent energy.
The energy.
Yes. It is the vital force, the vibration, the animator.
So if Akasha is the underlying quantum field, Prana is the energy that causes that field to fluctuate.
Yes, exactly. And Swami Vivekananda breaks down the mechanics of this interaction perfectly. He explains that at the beginning of a cosmic cycle, which is known as a kalpa, prana is completely motionless.
It's just still.
Completely still. The infinite energy exists, but it's asleep within the infinite ocean of Akasha.
Okay, so this is that dark, silent gestation period of the egg we talked about.
Yes. But then the prana begins to vibrate. And the Sanskrit term for this initial vibration is spandana.
Spandana. And how does a vibration create physical reality? Like, how do we get from a hum to a planet?
Vivekananda describes it as the prana striking the akasha blow after blow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this vibration lashes the unformed space-time into the complex waveforms we eventually perceive as suns, moons, and stars.
That sounds really familiar.
It should. It's remarkably similar to modern string theory, which suggests that the fundamental ingredients of reality are not solid particles, but microscopic vibrating loops of energy.
Right.
The specific frequency of the vibration determines what kind of particle is created.
So the vibration of energy acting upon a raw quantum field is what whips the universe into shape.
Exactly.
It's almost like a massive storm wind blowing across a completely still ocean, churning the water into massive chaotic waves.
That's a great analogy.
So the wind is prana, the water is akasha, and the resulting waves are the physical galaxies.
Yes, beautifully put.
But, okay, this raises a massive red flag when we look at the end of the timeline.
How so?
Well, if prana is the active energy and akasha is the matter, what happens when the storm runs out of energy? Does the wind just stop?
I see where you're going with this.
Because modern thermodynamics points toward entropy and the heat death of the universe, right? Where all energy dissipates, everything drifts apart, and the universe just freezes into an empty, dead void.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the Vedic texts offer a completely different mechanical conclusion than a permanent heat death.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they introduce the concept of Pralaya, which translates to dissolution. The universe does not simply die or freeze forever, it undergoes involution.
Involution, meaning it folds back in on itself.
Precisely. Remember our earlier definition of Shrishti as a projection, a breathing out?
Yeah.
Well, a breath out must eventually be followed by a breath in. The texts assert that you cannot create or destroy energy or matter. It merely changes form.
Conservation of energy again.
Exactly. During Pralaya, the universe begins to quiet down. The massive, complex structures, the planets, the stars, the galaxies, they start to lose their kinetic energy and become finer and finer.
They dissolve back into their original, unmanifested state.
Right. The spandana, that vibration of prana, gradually stops.
So the wind dies down, and the ocean of akasha becomes perfectly still again.
Yes. The universe shrinks back down into that initial seed, that golden egg. It rests in a period of latency, conserving its infinite potential before being projected out again in the next kalpa.
It's an endless cycle.
An endless, eternal cycle. And interestingly, this aligns with cyclical models in modern astrophysics, like Roger Penrose's conformal cyclic cosmology.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it suggests that the extremely distant, expanded future of our universe mathematically becomes the exact same state as the dense initial singularity of a new Big Bang.
That is awe-inspiring. I mean, it frames the entire lifespan of the cosmos as a single eternal heartbeat.
It really does.
But as mind-blowing as it is to talk about singularities, baryon acoustic oscillations, and infinite cycles of cosmic breaths, it can feel highly abstract.
Sure.
It's very easy to get lost in the sheer scale of the macrocosm and feel like a completely insignificant speck of dust. How does a thousands of years old physics lesson about the birth of the universe apply to the listener's daily life and internal reality?
Well, in the Vedic view, that sense of insignificance is an illusion.
An illusion?
Yeah, there is absolutely no structural separation between the grand cosmos and the individual. The Upanishads state, quote, "Knowing one lump of clay, we know all the clay that is in the universe."
It's the holographic universe principle. If you understand the fundamental nature of a single piece, you possess the blueprint for the entire structure.
And the texts assert that whatever mechanics exist in the macrocosm out there in space, exist exactly, perfectly mirrored in the microcosm of your own human body. Wow. The golden egg isn't just an event that happened billions of years ago in the depths of space. It is the exact same process happening inside you right now.
So what does this all mean for the individual listener?
Look at the name of the ancient physical and mental discipline, Hatha Yoga.
Okay.
The Pradipika explains that Ha represents prana, the vital, animating force of the universe. Tha represents manas, the mental energy or subtle matter.
Ha and Ta. I never knew that.
Yeah, your own body and mind are created and sustained by the exact same interplay of energy and matter that caused the cosmic egg to hatch.
That's incredible.
The prana lashing against the Akasha to form stars is the exact same dynamic of vital energy interacting with your nervous system to create your consciousness.
The sources refer to the nervous system as the mesh of the brain. We walk around all day feeling stressed about emails or commutes, thinking we are tiny anomalies in a giant, uncaring universe.
Right, totally detached.
But these texts are telling you that you are a miniature universe yourself. The entire cosmos is contained, as they say, within the lotus of the heart. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean condensed into a drop.
And this realization has a highly practical application. It completely reframes what practices like meditation and yoga actually are.
How so?
They are not merely physical stretching exercises or basic stress relief tools. They are ancient, systematic technologies designed to trace this physical existence backward.
Backward?
Yeah, just as the universe will undergo involution and fold back into the golden egg during Pralaya, meditation is a way to consciously trigger involution within your own mind.
So you are intentionally reversing the process of the Big Bang inside your own head.
You are quieting the chaotic, vibrating waves of prana in your mind, moving past the physical shell of your body, and reconnecting with that original golden spark of pure, unmanifested consciousness.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
One of the sources uses a brilliant historical metaphor to explain this.
Well, let's hear it.
There's a story about a giant plaster Buddha statue in a Burmese temple. It was heavy, ordinary, and unremarkable.
Okay.
But one day, it was accidentally dropped. The plaster cracked, and the monks discovered the statue was actually made of solid gold. Yeah, it had been covered in cheap plaster centuries ago to protect it from invading armies, and over time, everyone simply forgot what was underneath.
And in this framework, we are the plaster statue.
Precisely.
We have layer upon layer of relative existence, our egos, our anxieties, our physical identities, just plastered onto our consciousness by the chaotic expansion of life.
We've worn it for so long, we genuinely think we are the plaster.
Yeah. And meditation is the deliberate process of cracking that shell to reveal the solid gold Hiranyagarbha beneath.
It is a profound shift in identity. You are not separate from the cosmic event. You are an active, conscious continuation of it.
We have covered an immense amount of ground today. We started with a primordial golden egg gestating in absolute darkness, explored the physics of its rupture through sound and light, traced the endless storm of prana and akasha spinning into galaxies, and finally brought that exact same mechanism down into the human nervous system.
It's quite a journey.
It really is. The core takeaway here is deeply empowering. The boundless energy that birthed the swirling galaxies is literally the exact same energy flowing through your veins as you listen to this.
It fundamentally bridges the gap between astrophysics and internal spiritual realization.
It really does.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, if you found value in this deep dive, please take a second to subscribe to the Simplified Awakening Ancient Wisdom Decoded channel, hit the like button, and share your thoughts in the comments. We want to keep exploring these concepts with you.
Please do.
But as we leave you today, I want you to consider one final provocative thought hidden in these texts. We discussed the grand cosmic cycle of Pralaya, the dissolution where the entire universe folds back into its unmanifested source at the end of an eon.
Right, but this raises an important question because the ancient sages noted that you actually undergo a miniature version of this cosmic dissolution much more frequently.
Every single night, in fact.
Exactly. Every single night when you enter deep, dreamless sleep, your senses, your ego, and your active mind completely power down.
Everything just goes quiet.
The vibrating waves of your personal universe go still, and your consciousness temporarily merges back into that original, unmanifested cosmic state.
You return to the golden egg every time your head hits the pillar.
So, if you are returning to the infinite wellspring of creation every single night, what profound secrets of existence might you unlock if you could learn to stay awake and conscious as you cross that threshold tonight?